Hey, in this video, I'm really excited actually to do this with you because this technique or this strategy or this training that I'm about to show you really helped me to build a better brand, to build my business faster. And I've implemented all these things I learned from personal branding, and I've been able to translate those over into building my other businesses, my other companies, and I've also been hired out to do this for other companies as well. And it has to do with content marketing. Now, if you're not familiar with that term, everything is basically marketing. Everybody out there, and you included, are trying to get a message to people. Okay, you're trying to just figure out some kind of connection using some kind of piece of content, whatever form that will be, and I'll show you those in a second, that will help engage that person to become more aware of who you are or what your company does and so forth. So what I'm going to show you here is I'm going to go through a PowerPoint, give you some good examples, some good truths to it, some things that you need to write down, and then I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to show you on the internet exactly some of the things that I've already done and how easy it is for you to do it. Okay, so let me start with, first off, telling you that it's not as hard as you may think it is, and that's what really helped me, because I knew that to compete out there, a lot of times you're like, man, I just don't have the time, I don't want to do this. How am I, if I start a blog, how much time is that going to take? If I, create a YouTube channel, videos, oh my gosh, it becomes overwhelming. I got to keep thinking stuff up and, work. It doesn't have to be that way. And that's why I'm putting this training together, because it's really, really going to help you. Okay, so let's just jump right into this PowerPoint. Okay, first off, what is content? Let's get some definitions of what I'm going to reference to you as what content is. Okay, content could be any piece of medium or things that are out there that you could use. First off, let's talk about video. Okay, you can use, videos would be considered a piece of content. An audio would be considered a piece of content. Blog post, a website, PowerPoint, social post, podcasts, PDFs, books, images, press releases, emails, voiceovers, etc. Okay, so these are examples. Now, what if I told you, and here's the whole point of this video really, in this training, is what if I told you that you could create, basically start with one idea, one video, one conference call, one meeting presentation that got recorded, and create all of these things out of that exact that exact thing that you just did, that one piece of content. That's what makes this repurposing this whole thing exciting. Okay, now the other thing that I want you to think about, and this was something that I don't remember if I heard it or I just thought it up myself and I said it in a training because it got me thinking. Because in my, because I've been in sales for 20 some years and built networks and sales organizations and so on, and it's all about leverage. Okay, here's what you have to remember: is every piece of content becomes a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week employee you don't have to pay. Okay, so the more content you have out there, the more you are leveraged. Okay, content creates leverage. The more content you have, the more leveraged you become. That's the same as if you're in direct selling or the network marketing or the multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it. They have more and more outlets. It's similar to that concept. Same thing with Salesforce. If you're an insurance agency and you're leveraging your time, you've got all these different employees potentially out there. Okay, it's all about leverage. Also, what's nice about this digital age is content. Content lives forever. The term you'll hear maybe if you ever get into this a little deeper is called evergreen. It means it lives forever. It's an evergreen piece of content. Okay. Also, what's nice about this is content can be easily shared. What I like about the methods that I'm going to show you is the fact that somebody could see one and immediately, in this day and age, click a share button just about anywhere on any of the platforms that you have. They're already usually ready to roll so that they can be shared. So it now grabs bigger, it has more legs of its own. The other thing is to think about this is content can and should be splintered. Okay, now the word, the easy word to understand is repurpose, used again and again, but not just use it again, but they call it splintering. Okay, splintering is just taking one thing that you have and using it to create multiple things. So that's what they call splintering. I've heard it even called using sawdust. You know, somebody at one time when they were cutting logs saw that they could use all the sawdust down there and they created tables out of it. Who would have thought, right? The other thing too is when you repurpose, let's say you have your one core thing that you're marketing or your one core message, your video that you did, you can then split that up in multiple ways. And by doing so, you may have little spin-offs of each topic. It almost one thing like this, and then the entities kind of go like this, and you've got little branches that come off the same piece of content using the same topics, or being specific in what that the original message would be. That will also help your SEO, your search engine optimization. Okay, organic stuff that would happen out there. Like I said a second ago, multiple uses for single products. That's what I want to get through to you. Like I helped a ministry one time develop some of their marketing materials and really help them. And what I did is I said, look, you don't have to keep making more content. You already have a ton of this stuff. Okay, you've done how many sermons did you already videotape? And there was hundreds of them, right? So I said, well, I'll show you. Let's take one and let's repurpose it. Let's splinter it off. So we took one live thing that they did, one sermon that they did, and then we broke it into multiple pieces. And I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to show you that. So let me not jump into that. Actually, I'll go through it right now. In fact, so as an example, let's use this as an example since I'm actually on the ministry thing. Let's go ahead and roll with it. Okay. So as an example, we were able to take a 30-minute sermon, okay, and then what we did is we uploaded the original onto their YouTube channel, onto their, you can upload videos now directly onto Facebook, and we uploaded it onto Vimeo, okay. So right there we split it into, it's now splintered, basically we used it, repurposed it on 3 platforms, okay, so it became 3 employees for us. Also, we were able to download pull the audio from the video and create an MP3 from it. So now we're up to 4. Also, you can take that same audio, upload it onto SoundCloud. I'll show you that in a second. SoundCloud's like an online recording thing that you can upload your recordings to it and so on, and create it into a podcast. Okay, I think we're now up to 6 pieces of content from one video. The other thing is that audio, that video, the video, we extracted the audio, could actually be in a CD. Okay, so it became a CD that you could use as a giveaway. So now we're up to 8 pieces of content from the one video that we did. The other thing you could use that for, as an example, is you could put that one CD into a series. Maybe the ministry had talked for a few weeks on 3 or 4 different topics. Sell them as single sets or singles, or make them in one set. So that was kind of neat. Also, we took the video, I showed them, we take the video, the audio of it, and we get it transcribed. Now once we've got it transcribed, that can be part of a blog post, or it can be part of a book, or a PDF, maybe whatever it might be, and we can repurpose that to go into different ways. Okay, and in a lot of cases we were able to take the notes from what they had done and create a PowerPoint from it, or you can use we would have used this transcript in some cases to pull out little bullet points and maybe make some things on it to create an original another thing for the blog. Okay, so literally with one video that was 30 minutes long, literally we could easily without a whole lot of thought to it, repurpose it and splinter it into about 10 to 12 different internet employees for us that we don't have to think about, we don't have to babysit, and they live forever. And each one is basically goes along with what the original topic was, which drives all the traffic to where you really want it to go, your main blog page or your sales page or whatever. Okay, so let me give you just a couple real world examples of what I've used to repurpose content, because if you hear it again, so I kind of went through that, but let me show you what it might look like as we go through this. So I'm going to blow my screen up real quick, or I'm going to switch screens. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Is I was hired about 2 years ago. I was hired by a company to come in and do a training for their insurance sales business, their whole staff, their all their sales agents and so on, at this big retreat. And I came in there and I did a 2-hour intensive on building Salesforce, because they wanted to get these people out there kind of building their own sales forces and really, really replicating, okay? And from my background, I was easily able to deliver good content. So what had happened though, what I did was that whole session, that about 2-hour session, was videotaped, all right? Now, I knew this was coming, so this was just awesome because it really came out well. It was probably one of the best trainings, live trainings I'd ever done. And what I did then is I took that original video, okay? The original video was, 2 hours long, and a lot of times people may not want to absorb a full 2-hour training on certain things. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to now take that 2-hour training and splinter it or repurpose it, as I mentioned a second ago. So what I did is when I was teaching, I basically went through certain sections. Like I had a PowerPoint that went along with my training. And a lot of times when I do PowerPoint trainings, it's really just to keep my thoughts straight as to what topics I want to cover in this section for 15 minutes, this section for 15 minutes, this section for 15 minutes. And it helps for a way better presentation and speech due to the fact that I'm I'm changing topics pretty rapidly. So you're not just bogged down with a one long, an hour speech on the one dumb thing or whatever it might be. So I hit them with boom, 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 boom. Okay. So anyhow, what I did then was I got the video home, and then I watched it to make sure it was all good and everything like that. And what I then did was I realized that from the beginning to the one part, I was able to pull out an 11-minute segment. Was my first session that I did. It was on my introduction, a little history about me, and so on. So I created a video off of segment 1. Then I saw that I'd changed topics to segment 2, segment 3, all the way up to where I'd actually split this video up into 8 separate sections, because in the training, each section was a specific thing. Overall, it encompassed the same, the whole full process of it, but I walked somebody through step by step. So one was a video on systems, how to put systems together. Another one was on how to give a proper presentation. Another video was on creating duplication in your teams and your Salesforce. Another one was explaining compensation plans. Another one was on lead generation. So all of these, from the one big one I did, I split them all down into bite-sized pieces. Now what I then did was, after these videos were put together, I realized that I had a really good messaging here, okay? And it's the same thing, you can easily do this yourself. This isn't about me doing this, and just an example so you can do it, okay? So what I then did was, I was pretty excited about the content. I knew there was value there, 20-year successful track record of doing what I've done. I know I'm an expert in my field. I'm a professional. I've made plenty of money in this space. So what I did then is I went and I created a full-blown marketing page for it. And I was at one time selling this course. Okay, this is a full training course that I was what I was selling. Now I use it I use it differently. I use it as more of a giveaway and an opt-in than I do for sales. But I sold quite a few copies of this, and I got a lot of really good feedback on it. But basically, I created a page. And I'm using lead pages that I've mentioned in some of the videos in the back office here of the membership, the platform, the lab. And what I did is I just put these all on. I broke them down. Video 1 was change can happen. I talked that message was right there. Video 2 was about becoming developing the entrepreneur mindset. And then video 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's all down here on this one page. So I used that to market and sell, and I made good money off of it and everything. So I've now earned more money off of that one thing. I created opt-ins for my list to talk to more people in my my niche, and and build rapport and so on. All right, so now after these audios had come out and the videos were all broken down into pieces, guess what I then did? I went to Fiverr. I've mentioned this in one of the training videos as well in the lab. And I went to Fiverr and had it transcribed. Now the purpose of the transcript is to guess what? Put it down on paper. So my girl here, Gabby, I use the same girl to do my transcriptions because she's done a phenomenal job. Gabby Castaneda, You can see the image right there if you want to look her up. It would be, go to Fiverr.com, look up Gabby Castaneda, or, these things. She's the top rated seller on here. And I said, hey, I have these videos. It's like 2 hours long. It cost me, I think, like $20 or $30 to get the entire training transcribed. And I did it in sections so that now, think about this, I was able then to convert these trainings over into a book. Okay, so now I repurposed the audio into a transcribed text, which now became part of a book that I was able to put together. Okay, now the book also has been on. Could sell this. You could sell this book on Amazon, which is what I've done with a few of the things that I've repurposed before. You can use it as a PDF, a giveaway. You can use it as anything. Okay, so I used it like that. This is a book that gives a little more some more stuff. People can opt in to receive it and so on. Okay, the other thing I did is, as I've gone through this a few times, I also created this as a blog post. Okay, so I had the videos, and I knew that I didn't necessarily want to drive. I wanted to start driving more traffic to my my blog, to re-engage people there and so on, and to test a few things. I then made an 8 massive tips to help you generate more leads, recruit more reps, and build a bigger team blog post. Okay, and all I did was I basically copied and pasted. You'll see at the top here how every one of these things has a little header paragraph. I copied and pasted those things, used them above the videos, and dropped it in. So I really, in essence, replicated this page as a blog post on my blog. And guess what? I've given everybody lots and lots of value here, and it's created traffic. And down here, I've offered some bonus material. It's used, that piece of content with all of that is to give a lot of great information to people so that they eventually may opt into some of the other stuff, like opt in to get the book so that they'll become part of my email list and so on. Okay, now I'll give you a couple more examples, and then I'm going to wind this down and but I wanted you to get your wheels thinking on this, because this is really powerful, because now you don't have to rethink everything every time you want to put some stuff together. You can already look at what you have and go, well, what could I do to split that up? What could I do to splinter that? Okay, so anyhow, repurpose it. The other thing I did was, let me show you something completely different than that. So we're moving on. Is I did a really, really good conference call. I mean, I do quite a few good conference calls, but I did one that I thought was a really good one. It came out really well. I got a lot of great feedback on it from people, so that was the social proof telling me they liked what they heard. And what I did is I had recorded that audio, and I did my conference call, downloaded it. I'd been sitting on my computer for a while, and I decided finally I should just upload it to SoundCloud and use it as a piece of content on there. And I did. I uploaded it to SoundCloud, which is a free service that you can get. If you have like 100 videos on there, they charge you for it, but you can have quite a few videos on here for free depending on the length and so on. And that's now a piece of content that is out there. You can see in the URL here at the top that it's 5 steps to building a large sales force. So it could potentially pop up in search engine optimization on steps to build a sales force, that kind of thing. I then had it transcribed. I then went and did the same thing, sent it to my girl Gabby, had the entire thing transcribed, and I created a very big, long, detailed blog post. 5 easy steps to building a large sales force. I built a team of that, generated that. And then what I did is on here, I typed it out. Basically, I said, if you want to know the tried true recipe for Salesforce, it's the exact system I used for 20 years. To get the most out of this training, I've uploaded the audio of it, and below you'll find the transcripts. So I explained that it's a transcript of this. Now, what's kind of cool about this is if you wanted to, you could actually click play and...
Hey guys, Mike Healy here. Listen, I had a lot of requests about the recording, if I had it recorded.
Somebody could follow along with it exactly as I say it.
On Saturday about how to recruit. This is all basically the secrets, the insider tips, and the 5-step process of exactly.
Okay, so you can see that. I'm not going to go through it anymore. But you can see that somebody could click on it, listen to the audio, and that gave me an idea because I saw somebody else do that, and I thought it was a great idea because I like to listen and read at the same time because I'm more of a visual person. It was kind of nice to follow, and I noticed that I went through the entire blog. And then what I did was inside the blog post, I added a couple images when I got to certain points, to kind of make the blog post look a little nicer and so on. But in here, I also put in my free 8-part video training. And if somebody was to open that up, guess what it would do? It would take them to the blog post on that. Okay, so I've used one piece of content to drive traffic to another piece of content. Okay, so I'm again repurposing it in that capacity. Now the other thing that I did is I own a commercial energy company that does that we build. We basically my goal is to recruit people into coming in that they go out and get commercial energy accounts and customers. Okay. And one of the things that I've been doing is doing the exact same process of repurposing content for our company blog, company website, and so on. So what I did is I had to do a training on how the commercial customer process worked. So what I did is I created a simple PowerPoint. I talked over it and I recorded my voice using a screen on here, and I recorded it. Well, guess what? That became our training video for that process. So at the same time, now I've got a video that's on our company YouTube channel. I then was able to post that on our Facebook page. I was also able to send that out on our Twitter profile. And I made a post on it that I then took how the commercial process worked, and I took the slides, the PowerPoint that I'd created, and turned those into images. You can do that. You can just PowerPoint, click Save As, Pictures, and I created images. So as an example, there's the picture of the first slide as I'm talking about it, and I just I didn't have this transcribed. I just bullet pointed exactly what was in each slide, what I was trying to convey, what the message was, what the training was all about. And at the very top of it there, it says, if you would like to see the video of exactly how this process works, scroll to the bottom of this post. So if somebody scrolled all the way to the bottom, they saw all the questions, the details. Right there's the video, and they can watch it, and it will walk them through that. Now the other reason I put the video at the bottom of that is if you didn't know this, Google will give you better love and rankings if people scroll on your page or if they stay on there longer. They actually do analytics now and find out how relevant your page is based on time on site and scroll rates. Okay, and then the other thing that we've been doing with our company is we have been, anytime we do company conference calls, there's a picture of my it's a couple of the co-owners with me, is Rick and Jim, is I record all the conference calls that we do, and then I turn them into blog posts. I turn them into YouTube videos and so on, so they become splintered pieces of content that we now replicate and multiply ourselves, and we become more leveraged. So I hope you understood exactly what I was going through. You can literally get as creative as you want when it comes to splintering. I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint one more time. We're going to go back to the page right here at the beginning. Maybe write some of this down if you hadn't done it at the beginning, of the different ways you can do that. And I put etc. down there because there are still unlimited just about ways you can do that. And one thing could lead to another, which leads to another, which leads to another. So you could literally take one piece, one video, one training you do, and splinter it into 50. Okay, you could take your companies. If you're in a company that already has a PowerPoint, guess what you can do? You can take the company's PowerPoint, do your own video on it, record it, and put it together. Take that audio, transcribe it, make it into a blog post. Take those images from that. Make pictures of it, put it as a slide deck on SlideShare, put it on a podcast, whatever you talk about what you like about the PowerPoint and what your company presentation is. There are almost an unlimited of ways to multiply your time and your effort to make this a lot easier to get marketing material out there for you, for both your, could be anything, could be your business, could be your church, could be your personal brand. So hopefully you got a lot out of this one. I really enjoyed this. This was something that really kind of got my, tripped my trigger. And a lot of these things you can now use as your advertising things, and you can use them as to share with people. You can put almost every one of these things, every one of these mediums in a text form, send it to people, and really, really get some great stuff out there that gets your brand, your purpose out there for people. So hopefully you got something on this. Thanks again for being part of the lab, and we'll see you on some of the videos. Thanks.